Good evening. Shabbat Shalom to all the 12 tribes that are scattered into the four corners of the earth through slavery and oppression because of disobedience in worshiping other gods, but who are now awakening and returning back to their God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who introduced himself to Moses as Ahijah and then Yahweh. Greetings. Greetings also to those who are not of the bloodline of the 12 tribes, according to Bible prophecy, but as the Bible also predicted, would be grafted into the olive tree, which is the chosen, scattered nation of the children of Israel. Greetings. Blessings upon those that are working in the healthcare field, trying to save lives. Blessings also upon those that pick up garbage for us, the menial task to keep our places clean. Blessings upon those that make deliveries for us for our convenience that we take for granted. Double blessings upon those that are trying to help deliver, rescue the forgotten ones, boys, girls, children, toddlers, teenagers, and adults from sex slavery, from prostitution, from child molestation and pedophilia, from human trafficking and child pornography. And double curses on those that support these industries. Finally, blessings upon the homeless. 600,000 human beings, men, women, children, families, veterans, living on the streets of the United States of America, and millions around the world in places like Afghanistan, in Haiti, in the Philippines, with no roof over their head. Blessings upon these and those that are trying to help, for theirs is the kingdom. Finally, welcome to all that are in the chat. Welcome to you, Shabbat Shalom. Good evening. If you're on the east side of the United States of America like I am, good morning if you're on the far east, over there where Malaysia is, and Thailand, and the Philippines, and good day to all in between. We have been studying the prophecies of the prophet, the Hebrew prophet of the tribe of Levi, Jeremiah. And we are today going to look into chapters 40 and 41. Actually, as we're looking here, chapters 40, I think, and I'm not mistaken, but I think it goes all the way to 43 is like one narrative. And it starts in chapter 40. Once the city is taken by the Babylonians, the city being the old Jerusalem, is taken by the Babylonian, and the Israelites go into the second captivity of slavery after they had come out of Egypt and been enslaved there. They now come out, have gotten the land, were on the land for many centuries, close to 1,000 years, and then, of course, because of disobedience in the worshiping of other gods, placed back into slavery, into Babylon, which is a metaphor for what's going on today. Back in the, I was born in 61. So in the 60s, I think it was the late 60s, early 70s, my memory gets a little cloudy, but there was a song that came to my mind today as I was thinking about this study. And it was a song sung by a group back in the day, used to be one of my favorite group called The Temptations. Some of you are old enough to remember The Temptations. That was their name, The Temptations. And they sung a song at the time that was called Ball of Confusion. Some of y'all remember it. Yeah, you can find it on YouTube. Just look up Ball of Confusion, Temptations, and you'll hear it. But the song was very prophetic. It was very prophetic. It talked about the earth being a ball of confusion, that everything was out of control and people didn't know what was going on. And there's this chaos in the earth. And if you look at the lyrics to that song, it not only described at that time, because at that time we were dealing with Vietnam, heroin addiction. We were dealing with civil rights protests that turned violent after the death of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. And so there was a lot going on at that time. And the earth was in confusion. Now, comparatively speaking, it's much more confused now than it was then. It's much more confused now than it was then. Now, the Most High Yah gave his covenant to the children of Jacob. The Bible tells us he made the covenant. In fact, let's take a look at it in Psalms 105. I love this psalm because it explains, among other scriptures, but it explains the order of the covenant, how we ended up being the chosen people in Psalms 105. Let's look at Psalms 105, beginning at verse 1. Psalms 105, I'm going to read from verse 1 down to verse 10. Psalms 105, verses 1 through 10. Notice what it says. Oh, give thanks unto Yahweh. Call upon his name. Make known his deeds among the people. Sing unto him. Sing psalms unto him. Talk ye of all his wondrous works. Glory ye in his holy name. Let the heart of them rejoice that seek Yahweh. Seek Yahweh and his strength. Seek his face evermore. Remember his marvelous works that he hath done, his wonders and his judgments, and the judgments of his mouth. O ye seed of Abraham, his servant, ye children of Jacob, his chosen. He is Yahweh, our Most High. His judgments are in all the earth. He hath remembered his covenant forever, the word which he commanded to 1,000 generations, which covenant he made with Abraham, and his oath unto Isaac, and confirmed the same unto Jacob for a law, and to Israel for an everlasting covenant. The Most High makes his word very simple. He expressed his covenant to Jacob's children at Mount Sinai. Over 1 million people heard the words of the covenant from the Most High himself. They heard his voice. In fact, it was such an awesome sight that even Moses was scared. Let's look at Hebrews chapter 13. Hebrews chapter 13. I'm sorry, Hebrews chapter 12, not 13. Hebrews chapter 12. Okay, Hebrews chapter 12. I'm going to begin reading at verse 18 of Hebrews chapter 12. Hebrews chapter 12, beginning at verse 18, the epistle to the Hebrews. For ye are not come unto the mount that might be touched, and that burned with fire, nor unto blackness and darkness and tempest, and the sound of a trumpet, and the voice of words, which voice they that heard entreated that the word should not be spoken to them any more, for they could not endure that which was commanded. And if so much as a beast touch the mountain, it shall be stoned or thrust through with a dart. And so terrible was the sight that Moses said, I exceedingly fear and quake. But ye are come unto Mount Zion, unto the city of the living Most High, the heavenly Jerusalem, to an innumerable company of angels, to the general assembly, the church of the firstborn, which are written in heaven, and to Yah, the judge of all, and to the spirits of just men made perfect, and to Yahushua, the mediator of the new covenant, and to the blood of sprinkling that speaketh better things than that of Abel. So the writer of the epistle to the Hebrews is reminding the Hebrews of their heritage, is reminding them that they themselves, the readers, weren't there when the covenant was spoken. That was so awesome that even Moses said, I exceedingly fear and quake. And the people came to Moses and said, please stop it, because if we keep hearing his voice, he's going to kill us. But he said in the letter here, we just read, the heavenly Jerusalem, that is the new Jerusalem, the one not made with human hands, not made by Jebusites. The original Jerusalem was made by Jebusites and taken over by Israel. But the heavenly Jerusalem is not made by Jebusites. It's made by Father Yah himself. And he said, to the general assembly and church of the firstborn. See, this is where we get church all messed up because of Christianity. We think of church as some sort of denomination or some sort of new religion that was started by the Messiah. Church was never that in the Bible. Church is synonymous with the called out assembly. He called it the general assembly. The called out assembly is the people that were called out from Egypt, Jacob's children, the children of Israel, the nation. So that the church is always, in fact, the word is ecclesia, the called out assembly, called out from Egypt by the Most High and called to the Most High through Messiah. Okay? A scattered nation, not a denomination, not a Christian church, not a mosque, a called out nation that was given the covenant and ratified again through Messiah. Coming to the Most High is a very simple process in terms of what he expects. Obedience to the covenant through Messiah by receiving his perfect righteousness. When we receive the Father's spirit of perfect righteousness, he guides our steps. He leads us in the way we should go. Especially, of course, assuming we have asked him to do that. When we ask him to guide us and lead us, he will do it. And there's no need for us who follow the Father's spirit in obedience to his covenant to be confused. There's no need for us to be scared if the Father's always leading us. Messiah said to the disciples, you're all going to leave me alone, yet I'm not alone because the Father's with me. Messiah is the example for us. We are to go to our Father through the Messiah. Messiah represents us to the Father, represents his sinless, perfect character of righteousness in the Father's image to the Father on our behalf. Messiah sends Father's Spirit to us from the Father to speak to us, to guide us in the way we should go. When we leave this simplicity, there's only confusion. And that's why, as we studied on Wednesday night, the whore's forehead says mystery, Babylon the Great. It's mysterious and confusing. The religion of the planet Earth, all of them are confusion. Things that people don't understand, things that happen that they can't predict, things that's going on that they're scared of. It's confusion. The Most High does not allow his people to suffer confusion. Messiah said, all things that the Father reveals to him, he shares with us. He said, behold, I have told you before. And again, when you're talking about the book of Revelation, he says, the revelation of Messiah YHWH, which Yah gave unto him to show unto his servants things which must shortly come to pass. And he sent and signified it by his angel unto his servant John, who bear record of the word of Yahweh and of all things that he saw. That has not changed. The Most High intends to be sanctified in his chosen people before the heathen and before the earth. What happened, of course, as we're going to study tonight, is because of the worship of other gods, the nation of Israel became Babylon before Babylon even got there. They became confused before Babylon ever met them. And as a result, they were lost and without the Father. The Most High intends that the earth should be revealed to the earth through his people. This is what many people in Christianity don't understand. They won't understand because there's no Christianity in the Bible. This is why only through the nation of Israel, through the true Hebrew people, will we understand this, what I'm about to tell you. The Father sent Messiah to save Israel so that through Israel, he would be revealed to the world. When Israel rebels against the Father, the earth is in darkness, as it is this day. When Israel is awakened and returns to the Father, he sends them his Spirit, and they return to his commandments, statutes, and judgments. And then light is given to them, and through them to the world. Father has set Messiah as the way by which his chosen ones would awaken. Let's take a look in Ezekiel. I really wish that more people would really study the prophecy of Ezekiel, because there's much in there that will alleviate confusion. There's much in there that will help people understand the book of Revelation. There's much in there in the prophecy of Ezekiel. It is one of those prophets that people just cherry pick stuff and cherry pick it in a way that's out of context. But if read in its context, it gives great understanding of the Most High's plan of salvation, as it were. It gives great understanding of his intent for the planet and his chosen people. Now, we did a whole study, just to let you know, we did a whole study on the prophecy of Ezekiel. And if you're interested in that study, you can find it on the website, rawhebrewremnant.org, or you can find it on YouTube and Raw Hebrew Remnant on the playlist that is the Ezekiel series. You can find that. You go to the Raw Hebrew Remnant channel and you just plug in Ezekiel series and you'll see the playlist for Ezekiel come up for the series that we did on. And probably by the grace of the Most High, in the future, we'll probably do it again. It's very important prophecy like Revelation is. So let's look at Ezekiel chapter 36. And I'm going to read a little section of it, but I'm going to read it in a context so you can kind of see the whole thing is going on here in Ezekiel 36. Because what we're going to read tonight in Jeremiah is going to be so opposite of what the Most High's will is. It's going to be so filled with Babylon that you would never know that his will is going to be fulfilled in Ezekiel 36. It's almost like when you're looking at 2021, and I'm telling you that in the United States of America, the southern kingdom of Judah has been taken captive in the form of the so-called Negro, the so-called African American, and that these very ones are the ones that are awakening, of which I'm one, to give the message of salvation, of truth to the earth that has not been given before. Christianity has never given it to you. It's not raise your hands and believe in Jesus and be saved. It's repent of your sins and the sins of your fathers and come to the Messiah of the tribe of Judah, of the chosen people of Israel. That is the truth. Receive the perfect righteousness of the Father so that he can be revealed in you. That is the gospel. And we're going to read the gospel right here in Ezekiel 36. It's here too. In Ezekiel 36, it's not just the New Testament. Matter of fact, everything in the New Testament is in the Old Testament. Everything. But most people would not recognize it because you're being taught that these are two different books, almost like there's two different gods. But it's not. Ezekiel chapter 36. I'm going to begin at verse 17. Ezekiel chapter 36 at verse 17. Let me start at verse 16 because that's really where it begins, this section. Moreover, the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, when the house of Israel dwelt in their own land, they defiled it by their own way and by their doings. Their way was before me as the uncleanness of a removed woman. Wherefore I poured out my fury upon them for the blood that they had shed upon the land, and for their idols wherewith they had polluted it. And I scattered them among the heathen, and they were dispersed through the countries according to their way, according to their doings, I judged them. And when they entered unto the heathen, whither they went, they profaned my holy name. When they said to them, These are the people of Yahweh, and are gone forth out of his land. But I had pity for my holy name, which the house of Israel had profaned among the heathen, whither they went. Therefore say unto the house of Israel, Thus saith the Most High Yahweh, I do not this for your sakes, O house of Israel, but for my holy name's sake, which ye have profaned among the heathen, whither ye went. And I will sanctify my great name, which was profaned among the heathen, which ye have profaned in the midst of them. And the heathen shall know that I am Yahweh, saith the Most High Yahweh, when I shall be sanctified in you before their eyes. Did you catch that part? The Most High's word 100% of the time, without fail, will always come to pass. That's why he's not Babylon. He's truth. 100% of the time, what he says is going to happen. And what did he say right here? He said the heathen, that is all the rest of the planet Earth, are going to know that he is Yahweh when he sanctifies himself in his chosen people that have profaned his name among the heathen. That's going to happen. That is now beginning to take place. Now, just before we continue, I want to tell you something. Ezekiel was a prophet during the Babylonian captivity. He actually, when you read the prophecy, he will say often, I was among the captives, because they were taken captive from Babylon, from Jerusalem, into Babylon. And while he was taken captive, while he was in captivity, the city was destroyed. Some people would assert that these words were fulfilled when the second temple was built. But I beg to differ. In fact, Ezekiel begs to differ, because when you read verse 37, he talks about the return of the 10 northern tribes, along with the southern kingdom of Judah, back into the land. That didn't happen when they rebuilt the temple. When they rebuilt the temple, it was only the southern kingdom of Judah. But Ezekiel speaking further than that. He's talking about the restoration of the whole nation, all 12 tribes. Okay, that's why you know it's today. Let's continue though. Ezekiel chapter 36. I'm going to read verse 23 again for emphasis, and then we'll continue on. And I will sanctify my great name, which was profaned among the heathen, which ye have profaned in the midst of them. And the heathen shall know that I am Yahweh, saith the Most High Yahweh, when I shall be sanctified in you before their eyes. For I will take you from among the heathen and gather you out of all countries and will bring you into your own land. Then will I sprinkle clean water upon you, and ye shall be clean. From all your filthiness and from all your idols will I cleanse you. Here's the gospel right here. It started already, right there. I'm going to continue reading it. Read the gospel now. Here it is. A new heart also will I give you, and a new spirit will I put within you. And I will take away the stony heart out of your flesh, and I will give you a heart of flesh, and I will put my spirit within you, and cause you to walk in my statutes, and ye shall keep my judgments and do them. That's completely different than what Christianity teach. We under grace and we don't need no law. Isn't that what they teach? We under grace, we don't need no law. We can't stop sinning. Ain't that what they teach? What the word just say? I'm going to put my spirit in. Let me ask you, what's more powerful? The spirit of Asatan or the spirit of the Holy Father from righteousness? Let me ask you, what's more powerful? The sinful nature of man or the divine nature of the Father? What's more powerful? Who will win at the end? Your answer depends on your destiny. Or should I say your destiny depends on your answer? There you go. He said, a new heart also will I give you. A new spirit will I put within you. I'm going to put my spirit within you, and you're going to keep my statutes and commandments and do them. See, we can't obey the Father the way he accepts, except by his spirit. That's why he said that. That's the gospel right there. It's the restoration. But I want you to please note, this promise wasn't given to the whole world. It wasn't given to the whole world. This promise was given to the Israelite nation by blood. A new heart will I put within you, a new spirit. Take the stony heart and give you the heart of flesh. I'm going to be sanctified in you. See, that's the sign, brethren. People looking at all kinds of things for the sign. You got the SDAs looking for a Sunday law. You got Jehovah's Witnesses looking at Watchtower. You got Mormons looking at Joseph Smith in the Book of Mormon. The sign is in Israel. The sign is with the Israelite people. The true wise people are going to see the movement of the Israelite, the true Israelites coming back to their Father. It's already started. You can see it. It's already rising up in different areas. Those of us that are watching, you're seeing it. And there are people even among the Gentiles that are also seeing it and trying to connect with the Israelites, understanding what's going on. There's not a lot, but then again, we already know. What does the Bible say? And the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of Yahweh and the testimony of Messiah. It's not going to be everybody. It's going to be a remnant. What the word say? 2/3 are going to be cut off and die. And I'm going to take the 1/3 and I'm going to bring them through the fire as gold is tried and refined. And I'm going to say, it is my people. And they're going to say, Yahweh is my God. What the word say? You children of Yefet said, I'm going to cut off all of y'all and I'm going to leave 1/6 of y'all. That's a remnant. 1/3, 1/6, that's a remnant. That's a remnant. And we are living in the time of that remnant. We are the last generation. We're the last ones. I know that's hard to believe, but look around you. Look at the confusion. Look at the height of evil that's happening on planet Earth. Take a look. Just today I saw U.S. general gets on the television and says, I'm sorry, but we killed some children and some civilians in that last drone strike. Does sorry help the family whose children, little boys and girls, was killed? Does sorry help the innocent people that had nothing to do with nobody's war that were destroyed. Let me tell you something, brethren. There is no evil in us individually or in people or in nations that's not going to be fully repaid. There's no evil that's not going to be fully repaid. So when you look around and you see the unrighteousness and the unjustness going on the planet, from the powers that rule the planet, from not only governments, but corporations as well, when you see that, you should understand that everything you're seeing is going to come back on the perpetrators twice. The Bible says double unto her, double. That's why I said Babylon is fallen. It says it twice. And in Revelation 18, it said double unto her. You should know it's coming back double. And if I say if what I said is right, that we are the last generation, you're going to see it soon. You're going to see it very soon. That's why I say, please, read your Bible. Read it for yourself. You have time now. It'll take you a year. Read it. The Most High will bless your efforts when you read this Bible. He will bless your efforts. He will bless your mind. Turn you at my reproof, his word says in Proverbs 1:23. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you. Read his word. Read the boring parts. Read the easy parts. Read the deep parts. The boring parts, say, what do you mean boring parts? You know, so-and-so begot so-and-so. So-and-so had numbers so-and-so. They had so many people in their tribe. Read that too. Or this was 5 cubits long by 8 cubits long. This was 30 cubits high by 60 cubits. Read that too. I know it sounds boring, right? Not all of it is boring like that. And not all of it is easy reading. I ain't going to front to you, but you will be blessed by the Most High. It's a spiritual exercise. Listen to me now. It's a spiritual exercise. It's a spiritual exercise that will bless your spirit, bless your soul, and prepare you for what's coming. Weapons won't prepare us. Our smarts won't prepare us. Our IQs won't prepare us. Only the Father's Spirit will prepare us. Moses walked up in that mountain twice, y'all. 2 times. And didn't eat or drink for 40 days. He didn't do that because he was disciplined. He did that by the Father's Spirit. And just in case people didn't realize that, when he came down from the mountain, he was glowing. He was glowing to the point that the children of Israel were scared of him, because he had been in the presence of glory for 40 days. Elijah also, he was tired. He had outrun a horse and chariot by the spirit of the power of the Spirit. Then the woman Jezebel threatened his life, and he got scared and he ran, and he was tired. Angel shook him, woke him up, said, eat, man, you got a long journey. So he ate, had a cruse of water and a cake made for him. Man ate, went back to sleep. Angel woke up again, said, eat, you got a long journey. So he ate. And the brother went 40 days with no more food or drink by the power of the Spirit. It's not by man or man's power or man's might, but by Father's Spirit that we get prepared, y'all. And I'm telling you, read his word, communicate with him, surrender your spirit to him. You're going to have some problems. You're going to fall. You're going to have mistakes made. Believe me, I know you're going to do that. But the key thing is that when you come back to the Father after every mistake, when you confess your sins and the sins of your father, when you say, I broke your covenant, I done broke all 10 of the commandments, and you come, he cancels your sin. Not because he just loves you, because Messiah, his chosen appointed son, paid the penalty already. So he cleanses you and gets you started, fresh start again. Praise his name. See, we just got to keep coming to him. That's why Messiah himself said, All that come to me, I will in no wise cast out. All that the Father giveth me shall come to me. And he that cometh to me, I will in no wise cast out. John 6:37. Back to Ezekiel, though. Ezekiel 36, starting at verse 26 again. A new heart also will I give you, and a new spirit will I put within you. And I will take away the stony heart out of your flesh, and I will give you a heart of flesh. And I will put my spirit within you, and cause you to walk in my statutes, and ye shall keep my judgments and do them. And ye shall dwell in the land that I gave to your fathers, and ye shall be my people, and I will be your most high. I will also save you from all your uncleannesses, and I will call for the corn and will increase it, and lay no famine upon you. And I will multiply the fruit of the tree and the increase of the field, that ye shall receive no more reproach of famine among the heathen. Then shall ye remember your own evil ways and your doings that were not good, and shall loathe yourselves in your own sight for your iniquities and for your abominations. Not for your sakes do I this, saith the Most High Yahweh. Be it known unto you, be ashamed and confounded for your own ways, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Most High Yahweh. In the day that I shall have cleansed you from all your iniquities, I will also cause you to dwell in the cities and in the wastes that shall be built. And the desolate land shall be tilled, whereas it lay desolate in the sight of all that passed by. And they shall say, this land that was desolate is become like the Garden of Eden. The waste and the desolate and ruined cities are become fenced and are inhabited. Then the heathen that are left round about you shall know that I, Yahweh, build the ruined places and plant that was desolate. And I, Yahweh, have spoken it, and I will do it. See, it's for the heathen to see us as the examples of those that have been sanctified and empowered by the Father's Spirit of grace and mercy. Those of us who really fulfill the gospel by having his spirit dwell in us and having his righteousness be revealed in us. That's the Father's ordained order. That's what he's going to have that happen. Okay. Thus saith the Most High Yahweh, I will yet for this be inquired of by the house of Israel to do it for them. I will increase them like with men like a flock, as the holy flock, as the flock of Jerusalem in her solemn feast. So shall the waste cities be filled with flocks of men. They shall know I am Yahweh. Praise the Most High. What a promise. And so as I'm saying here, without Yahweh, without following his covenant, without coming back to him for his statutes and judgments and obedience, it's nothing but confusion. And that's why Babylon represents confusion. And that's why all the religions that cover the entire planet Earth is nothing but confusion. But the Most High has mercy on the sincere hearts. And this is what happened now. I want to show you before we go to Jeremiah chapter 40. I want to show you because it was Nebuchadnezzar was the king that the Most High had appointed to destroy Jerusalem and to take Judah captive. It was Nebuchadnezzar. And Nebuchadnezzar was an interesting man. He was a very interesting man. If you recall, in Daniel chapter 2, Nebuchadnezzar had a dream. And he really was bothered to know the dream. He'd forgotten it. And he had around him all of these spiritual men. Now, most of them were psychics and soothsayers and people that the Most High said was abominable to him. But he was a heathen king. He was born of the Hamitic people. So he did not have the truth. But he was always a spiritual man looking for the truth. And then finally, of course, we know the story. Daniel was shown the dream with the interpretation and gave it to Nebuchadnezzar. Now, at that point, Nebuchadnezzar knew that Daniel's God was the true God, but Nebuchadnezzar was struggling with himself because, after all, he was a king, the most powerful man on the planet, the last Hamitic king. So he was struggling with his own self, which is why he ended up building a golden image. Then that was thwarted by Daniel's God. Then he ended up surrendering after going crazy for 7 years. Yes, he had to lose his mind for 7 years. That's Daniel chapter 4. He had to lose it, and he had to lose his mind for 7 years. But at the end of the 7 years, according to the prophetic utterance that the Most High gave Daniel, he recognized who the Most High is, who the true God is. And Daniel chapter 4 is actually Nebuchadnezzar's testimony of how he got redeemed, how he got born again. Now, prior to that, he always had respect to things spiritual. There are people like that on the earth today. They don't know the truth. They're searching. And they have respect for things spiritual. There are people like that. They don't know what the truth is. They haven't met the true God. But they want to. They just haven't met him yet, like Nebuchadnezzar. And so they don't really despise anything that they consider spiritual. So that's why he took the holy vessels out of Jerusalem. He didn't destroy the holy vessels. He brought them back to Babylon with other holy vessels from other nations. Okay. So when he was going to destroy Jerusalem, he doubted within himself whether he should do it. Because Jerusalem was a beautiful city. And Solomon's temple, when you read the description of how Solomon built that temple, it was, widely considered one of the most beautiful buildings that was ever built by any man. And so he did not want to destroy it. And so let's look at what he went through in his decision to go at Jerusalem. And this is in Ezekiel again. This is Ezekiel chapter 21. I'm going to read from verse 18. Ezekiel chapter 21. The Most High Yah is revealing to his Hebrew prophet Ezekiel what Nebuchadnezzar was thinking. Let's take a look at it. In Ezekiel chapter 21, beginning at verse 18. The word of Yahweh came unto me again, saying, also, thou son of man, appoint thee 2 ways, that the sword of the king of Babylon may come. Both twain shall come forth out of one lane. And choose thou a place. Choose it at the head of the way of the city, to the city. Appoint a way that the sword may come to Rabbah of the Ammonites, and to Judah in Jerusalem, the defense. For the king of Babylon stood at the parting of the way, at the head of the 2 ways, to use divination. He made his arrows bright. He consulted with images. He looked in the liver. Very interesting. I find this fascinating that the Bible says Nebuchadnezzar looked in the liver. Do y'all know what that means? Let me just explain what that means. The Bible is actually telling us you can tell the future of somebody's health by the condition of their liver. Isn't that amazing? This is Bible. This is thousands of years ago. Talking about modern medicine, right? The Most High gave this to the Hamites thousands of years ago. They understood that by looking at the liver, you can tell the future of a person's health. And so this phrase is saying he looked to try to look into the future. He was looking at divinations to try to figure out, talking to his psychics and looking at stars, trying to figure out the future. See, he didn't know the Most High Yahweh. So he was using what he had. And so here he's trying to figure out the future. What should he do? Verse 22. Notice what came to his mind. At his right hand was the divination for Jerusalem, to appoint captains, to open the mouth in the slaughter, to lift up the voice with shouting, to appoint battering rams against the gates, to cast a mount, to build a fort. So he was being shown to destroy Jerusalem. But he didn't want to believe it. Watch the next verse. And it shall be unto them as a false divination in their sight, to them that have sworn oaths. See, he didn't want to do it. He said, that can't be true. No. But then, notice the end of verse 23. But he will call to remembrance the iniquity, that they may be taken. So he reasoned, he was seeking. He did not want to destroy Jerusalem. He probably wanted to just take it over, but not destroy it. But the Spirit brought to his mind how evil, how ungodly Yah's people had become. And then he knew what his mission was supposed to be. Okay, he knew what his mission was supposed to be. It's so interesting. It's so powerful. I praise the Most High for his word. You see how much we learn by just Reading his word. Reading his word. See that? So praise the Most High Yahweh. So now he was sent on a mission to destroy Jerusalem and the temple and take Judah captive. Now you're going to see how he treats Jeremiah. Because as we have already read, as we've read up to this point, we have read where Jeremiah had been preaching, had been prophesying, the Most High is going to destroy Jerusalem. He's going to level the temple. He's going to make this place like Shiloh. Surrender to the Babylonians. Surrender to them and your life's going to be for a prey. But they wouldn't listen to the Most High's prophet, Jeremiah. And you're going to see the confusion that came as a result. Let's turn now, Jeremiah chapter 40. Jeremiah chapter 40. It's interesting. Jeremiah was a prophet at the time of the Babylonian destruction, as was Ezekiel. But then you had other prophets like Zechariah, for example, or Haggai. They were prophets at the time of the rebuilding of the temple, the second temple. Then you had other prophets like Amos and Hosea, who were prophets at the time of the northern kingdom's downfall and captivity. Okay, so these prophets all came at different times. That's why it's all, but of course, all of them are speaking of our day as well. Okay, all of them. That's why you have to read it. Read it all. And when you finish reading it all, I suggest read it again. Okay, read it again. Every time you read it, you're going to learn. You'll be blessed. Jeremiah chapter 40. Let's begin at verse 1. Jeremiah chapter 40. Now in 39, they broke through the wall. They were destroying, burning, looting everything in Jerusalem and killing, the people that were not, including the king and his sons and his servants, burning up their house, killing them. That's what they were doing, okay? I also want you to know something. We're going to see here that the Most High was really doubly punishing the leadership, the spiritual and political leadership of Judah. The common people, the poor, he wasn't punishing them, as you're going to see. Just like now, I want y'all to remember some things. There are people in all religions that are just poor people that don't know the Most High. But the leadership of these religions are going to be the one that receive the heaviest punishment. The leadership of crooked politics and crooked governments. The spiritual wickedness in high places are the ones you're going to see on display to get destroyed by Messiah's return. The Most High has no beef with the people that are just ignorant and poor. He said, blessed are the poor, theirs is the kingdom. You're going to see a lot of people that's going to come into the kingdom that never knew the truth of the Most High, but were ignorant and would have followed it if they had been given the opportunity. And they will be given that opportunity, which is why we teach that the 144,000 during the course of the 1,000 years will be teaching the heathen that didn't know. The Most High is merciful. He's not just trying to kill people to kill them. There's some Baptists and Pentecostals and Jehovah's Witnesses and Catholics and Edomites. There's some Muslims. There's people that follow Buddha, Vishnu. But they're ignorant. And they're just as confusing as all the other religions Christianity had. But if they knew the truth, they would follow. Okay, they would follow. And the Most High knows who they are. That's why I can't judge them. The Most High can't know. And you're going to see some of them here in Jeremiah chapter 40. Watch. Jeremiah chapter 40, beginning at verse 1. The word that came to Jeremiah from Yahweh after that Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, had let him go from Ramah, when he had taken him being bound in chains from all that were carried away captive of Jerusalem and Judah, which were carried away captive unto Babylon. And the captain of the guard took Jeremiah and said unto him, watch what the captain of the Babylonian guard says to the Hebrew prophet. Watch what he says. Yahweh thy most high hath pronounced this evil upon this place. Now, Yahweh hath brought it and done according as he has said, because ye have sinned against Yahweh and have not obeyed his voice. Therefore, this thing has come upon you. This is the Babylonian captain talking to the Hebrew prophet. And he's telling the Hebrew prophet, your God told us to come here and destroy this place because your people were not obeying your God. Just like we just read in Ezekiel 21. Notice again, verse 4. And now, behold, I loose thee this day from the chains which were upon thy hand. If it seem good unto thee to come with me into Babylon, come, and I will look well unto thee. But if it seem ill unto thee to come with me into Babylon, forbear. Behold, all the land is before thee. Whether it seemeth good and convenient for thee to go, thither go. Now, while he was not yet gone back, he said, go back also to Gedaliah, the son of Ahikam, the son of Shaphan, whom the king of Babylon hath made governor over the cities of Judah, and dwell with him among the people, or wheresoever it seemeth convenient unto thee to go. So the captain of the guard gave him victuals and a reward, and let him go. They respected Jeremiah. The Most High put respect in their heart for Jeremiah. And they gave him a choice. You could stay here in the land. We appointed the governor, Gedaliah, to govern the children of Judah that be left here. You could stay with him. You could come with us to Babylon. We're going to set you up if you come, or go wherever you like. And he gave him food and he gave him money. Gave him reward. Took the chains off. Why was he in chains? He wasn't in chains because the Babylonians had him in chains. He was in chains because his own brethren had him in chains. Remember, as we read before, he was locked up at the time of the destruction. Okay? And so they let him go. They gave him money and food, and they gave him his choice. You could stay or you could go. Okay? Jeremiah chapter 40, verse 6. Then went Jeremiah unto Gedaliah, the son of Ahikam, to Mizpah, and dwelt with him among the people that were left in the land. So now they dwelling now in Mizpah. They're not dwelling in Jerusalem. Why? Because Jerusalem's destroyed. The temple's destroyed, Jerusalem's destroyed. So now the government, the temporary government that was set up by Nebuchadnezzar was led by Gedaliah, and they set up at Mizpah. So Jeremiah decided to stay there in the land of Judah with his people that were left. Okay. Now, when all the captains of the forces which were in the fields, even they and their men, heard that the king of Babylon had made Gedaliah the son of Ahikam governor in the land, and had committed unto him men and women and children, and of the poor of the land, and of them that were not carried away captive to Babylon, then they came to Gedaliah to Mizpah, even Ishmael the son of Nethaniah, and Yachanan the son of, Yanathan the sons of Kareah, and Shariah the son of Tahumath, and the sons of Ephai, the Netophathite, and Jezaniah the son of the son of a Maakathite, and they and their men. So let's stop here. All them names I had to go through, but let's stop here. So there were people that were in the army, the Southern Kingdom's army. They were out, they had fled. They were out in the fields. Some of them had went to other lands. They heard what happened. They heard that the city was destroyed, temple was destroyed, Gedaliah was made governor. And so now they're returning. And you can see it says that the poor of the land, the women, children, the poor, Nebuchadnezzar left alone. He had no problem with them. He wasn't trying to kill men, women, and children that were innocent. He was trying to kill the leadership. He was taking with him, but he did. If it was today, you would say he's taking with him all the affluent people and the middle class and the upper middle class. He's taking all of them. The people below the poverty line, he's leaving them alone. And you can stay in the land and you can farm and you can get the goods of the land, he's saying. Okay. But the poor, he's leaving alone. But the people that had it like that, either they getting killed or they getting taken back to Babylon captive to become Babylonians. Okay, that's what happened. So they heard the army, the people that had been out in the service and the soldiers, they heard, and then they came back from where they were hiding out from other countries and in the fields and in the mountains where they were hiding. They came back. Okay, and these men came back. Now you're going to see something now. When you're not obedient to Yah, when you're following other gods, confusion remains. And not only does confusion remain, when you're not obedient to the covenant of Yah, when his spirit is not working in you, there's a couple of things that will overtake you. Greed and power, control. Lust for control and power will overtake you when you're not trusting in the Most High. Okay, when you're not being led by his spirit. Okay, especially when there's power over people and over nations like these brothers. Some of these brothers see, oh, Nebuchadnezzar gone, he left this man governor. They coming back. Some of them for good, some of them for evil, as you're going to see. Jeremiah chapter 40, verse 9. And Gedaliah, the son of Ahikam, the son of Shaphan, swear unto them and to their men, saying, fear not to serve the Chaldeans. Dwell in the land and serve the king of Babylon, and it shall be well with you. As for me, behold, I dwell in Mizpah to serve the Chaldeans, which will come unto us. But ye, gather ye wine and summer fruits and oil, and put them in your vessels, and dwell in your cities that ye have taken. Likewise, when all the Jews that were in Moab, and among the Ammonites, and in Edom, and that were in all the countries, heard that the king of Babylon had left a remnant of Judah, and that they had set over them Gedaliah, the son of Ahikam, the son of Shaphan, even all the Jews returned out of their places, whither they were driven, and came to the land of Judah, to Gedaliah, unto Mizpah, and gathered wine and summer fruits very much. So everybody was coming back. They were trying to get their lives back to it as normal as they could. Of course, Jerusalem was destroyed. The temple was destroyed. But they were trying their best to get back to some semblance of normality. They had a government in place led by Gedaliah. He was the governor. And so now they're coming back. The land was still the land. And so they had that. They were farming. They were gathering in wine and corn and oil and summer fruits and that. So that, they were trying to get back to normal. They were coming from all the countries round about that they had been scattered into. Okay, let's continue. Verse 13. Moreover, Yechanan, the son of Kareah, and all the captains of the forces that were in the fields came to Gedaliah to Mizpah, and said unto him, dost thou certainly know that Baalis, the king of the Ammonites, hath sent Ishmael, the son of Nethaniah, to slay thee? But Gedaliah, the son of Ahikam, believed them not. See, that he should have listened. Even Jeremiah was trying to talk to this man, but he would not listen. He was the governor now. He was in a position of power. Brethren, anytime you're given a position of authority and power, you should know that there are always, 100% of the time, people scheming to take your position. 100% of the time. Until the time that Messiah establishes his kingdom, then you won't have that anymore, because the whole earth will be filled with the righteousness of Yah, and every woman will be satisfied. But until that time, in this earth in which we dwell, anytime somebody has power, there is somebody else scheming to take that power. 100% of the time. Okay, all the time. Gedaliah should have known that, but he didn't. Especially with the history of Israel and Judah. So many times, especially with the northern kingdom, kings were slain so that somebody else could take power. And the same thing happens here in Judah this time, as you're going to see. Jeremiah chapter 40. Sorry for the spoiler alert. Jeremiah chapter 40. So Gedaliah believed them not. Verse 15. Yechanan, the son of Kareah, spake to Gedaliah in Mizpah secretly, saying, let me go, I pray thee, and I will slay Ishmael, the son of Nethaniah, and no man shall know it. Wherefore should they slay thee? should he slay thee, that all the Jews which are gathered unto thee should be scattered, and the remnant of Judah and Judah perish. But Gedaliah, the son of Ahikam, said unto Yechanan, the son of Kareah, thou shalt not do this thing, for thou speakest falsely of Ishmael. He just would not believe that after all that happened, his Judah brethren would do that. He just wouldn't believe it. Okay. But as you're going to see, Ishmael was of the royal seed. What does that mean? That means in his mind, he's supposed to be the king, not Gedaliah. In his mind, he's not listening to the Babylonians. He's part of that royal seed that was worshiping other gods that caused the whole problem in the first place. And so his boy is telling him, look, man, I'm telling you that the king of the Ammonites hired this man to come and kill you. And he just, no, you're wrong. No, you're wrong, Yechanan. You're not telling the truth. No, that's not going to happen. My brother wouldn't do that to me. Remember also, brethren, y'all should know from even recent history. Remember who killed Malcolm X? Who killed Malcolm X? Who killed Fred Hampton? Who killed Khalid Muhammad? Was it the so-called white man? Who pulled the trigger? Who set them up? It was people that was right next to him. Who set up Messiah? Was it the Romans? Now, the Romans ended up putting him to death, but who delivered him to the Romans? His own brethren. Who delivered him to his own brethren? The guy that was right next to him, Judas. You're always going to have Judas. Always. But we don't worry about Judas. You know why? Because what happened to the original Judas happens to every Judas after that. They all get the same thing. But we do need to listen to the Spirit of the Father as he speaks through his prophets. This brother was not listening. Okay? Jeremiah 41. Now it came to pass in the 7th month that Ishmael, the son of Nethaniah, the son of Elishama, of the seed royal. See, he was of the royal seed. He was of the seed of Judah that was in the leadership, the kings. And the princes of the king, even 10 men with him, came to Gedaliah, the son of Ahikam, to Mizpah. And there they did eat together in Mizpah. Then arose Ishmael, the son of Nethaniah, and the 10 men that were with him, and smote Gedaliah, the son of Ahikam, the son of Shaphan, with the sword, and slew him, whom the king of Babylon had made governor over the land. Ishmael also slew all the Jews that were with him. Power and greed, y'all. It knows no bounds. Even Gedaliah at Mizpah, and the Chaldeans that were found there, and the men of war. So they killed even the soldiers that were left to guard the Chaldeans there, killed them, killed all the Jews that were with Gedaliah and his cabinet, killed them, killed Gedaliah. And it came to pass the 2nd day after he had slain Gedaliah, and no man knew it, that there came certain from Shechem, from Shiloh, and from Samaria, even 80 men, having their beards shaven and their clothes rent, having cut themselves with offerings and incense in their hand, to bring them to the house of Yahweh. And Ishmael, the son of Nethaniah, went forth from Mizpah to meet them, weeping all along as he went. He's faking. And it came to pass, as he met them, he said unto them, come to Gedaliah, the son of Ahikam. So you know Gedaliah was dead, right? So he's trapping them. Oh, they come in all sad about what happened now, and they coming to Gedaliah to make peace. He got something for them. And it was so, when they came in the midst of the city, that Ishmael, the son of Nethaniah, slew them, and cast them into the midst of the pit, he and the men that were with him. But 10 men were found among them that said unto Ishmael, slay us not, for we have treasures in the field of wheat, of barley, of oil, and of honey. So he forbare, and slew them not among their brethren. Now, the pit wherein Ishmael had cast all the dead bodies of the men whom he had slain because of Gedaliah was it which Asa, the king, had made for fear of Baasha, king of Israel. And Ishmael, the son of Nethaniah, filled it with them that were slain. Then Ishmael carried away captive all the residue of the people that were in Mizpah, even the king's daughters, and all the people that remained in Mizpah, whom Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, had committed to Gedaliah, the son of Ahikam, and Ishmael, the son of Nethaniah, carried them away captive and departed to go over to the Ammonites. Just like they said, the Ammonite king had hired him, the seed royal, to turn on his own brethren. So he carried them away captive to the Ammonites. But when Jachanan, the son of Kareah, and all the captains of the forces that were with him heard of all the evil that Ishmael, the son of Nethaniah, had done, then they took all the men and went to fight with Ishmael, the son of Nethaniah, and found them by the great waters that are in Gibeon. And it came to pass that when all the people which were with Ishmael saw Jachanan, the son of Kareah, and all the captains of the forces that were with him, then they were glad. So all the people that Ishmael had carried away captive from Mizpah cast about and returned and went unto Jachanan, the son of Kareah. So Jachanan was the one that initially warned Gedaliah. Remember, he said, this man's coming to kill you. The Ammonite king had sent him, and Gedaliah wouldn't believe him. So now this man had his own crew because he was a soldier. And he heard what happened, and he came after Ishmael and them, and the people that Ishmael had taken captive, and he rescued them. Okay. Verse 15. But Ishmael, the son of Nethaniah, escaped from Jachanan with 8 men and went unto the Ammonites. This is a sad story. These are all brethren. These are all bloodline of the tribe of Judah. And they fighting each other. They're killing each other over power and control. And they're confused because they did not serve Yahweh. They were unrepentant. As you're going to see, even this man that rescued them, Jachanan, he's confused too. Watch. Well, we're going to see it in chapter 42, really, but let's finish chapter 41. But Ishmael, the son of Nethaniah, escaped from Jachanan with 8 men and went to the Ammonites. Then took Jachanan, the son of Kareah, all the captains of the forces that were with him, all the remnant of the people whom he had recovered from Ishmael, the son of Nethaniah, from Mizpah, after that he had slain Gedaliah, the son of Ahikam, even mighty men of war, and the women, and the children, and the eunuchs, whom he had brought again from Gibeon. And they departed and dwelt in the habitation of Kimham, which is by Bethlehem, to go to enter into Egypt, because of the Chaldeans, for they were afraid of them, because Ishmael, the son of Nethaniah, had slain Gedaliah, the son of Ahikam, whom the king of Babylon made governor in the land. So they were scared now because they had killed Chaldeans, and they killed Gedaliah. And so even though Jachanan didn't do it, he knew that they might be held to pay from Babylon because of what happened. So they decided they wanted to go where Israelites always went at that time when they was in trouble, to Egypt. They decided they were going to go to Egypt, but they gathered together at Bethlehem, okay, which was of Judah. And they decided they were going to plan to go to Egypt. Okay, you're going to see more as we read 42 and 43 and 44. You're going to see a lot more. Okay, the Most High had to rebuke them because they depended on Egypt. I mean, our people, see, that's why we know what the ancient Israelites look like, because they were so closely aligned with the Egyptians. They look very similar, and they've been closely aligned with them. No, they weren't in Egypt for 400 years, but they were in Egypt for at least 150 years, and they kept going back. You know, even Abraham went there. His son ended up going there, and of course, Jacob's and his sons ended up going there. Joseph was there, married a woman there, had 2 tribes of Israel with her. And so anytime they got in trouble after they were delivered from Egypt, they kept going back. They kept going back to Egypt. And then in Isaiah, you see Isaiah was rebuking them for keep going back to Egypt. Okay, but even so, we know that even Joseph, the stepfather of Messiah, and the mother Miriam were told to go to Egypt and hide there. See, so when you see pictures of ancient Egyptians on the walls and caves and tombs in Egypt, and you see pictures of ancient Israelites, they look the same. They look the same. Okay, that's why we know what they look like. One of the reasons. But yeah, there's that. So that was Jeremiah chapter 40 and 41. You're going to see a lot more than this as we continue forward in this goes all the way through chapter 44, I believe. Yeah, I believe it goes all the way through chapter 44. Yeah. And then after we get through chapter 44, that's when the prophecies against Babylon start to heat up after that. So yeah, we're in chapter 42 by the grace of the Most High. Tomorrow we will continue our study and looking at Jeremiah chapter 42 and continuing study the history of the Israelite people, which is a foretaste of today. May the Most High bless you and keep you. May he cause his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May he lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Pray for us also, that we might also be found faithful. Shalom.